This is one of our new pieces of equipment here. It's a soft quick splint, something we're going to transition over from one of our older products. And we had a demo with this and recently found out there were a couple things that we'd like to share with folks about how we want to package this and how we want to maybe take it out on the hill and use it. So one of the things we found out was there's a couple of D-rings and some Velcro straps on this product. And these cravats, when this thing is all opened up and used to put on somebody's leg, a lower leg injury, if you don't dress it in advance, you'll find out you'll probably put it on somebody's leg, and then you'll have to take all the Velcro straps apart, which means you got to remove it from the leg again. So we found out a couple things that might be at advantage to reminding yourself and using it in advance. One of them was we want to store it in our sled bags, kind of folded up like this and tied up with two cravats. The cravats will come in handy for a number of reasons, but they also act as a reminder to take it apart and take the Velcro straps apart before you dress it to the injured skier's leg. Another item is we sometimes use this splint, such as between a patient's legs, like a rolled up blanket, or if you want to splint the legs together and it's already in that position to be able to be used in this situation or condition. So if I were to use this out on the hill for somebody's leg, I would take these cravats apart and I would then open it up, and it basically looks like that. There's no top or bottom because there's two D-rings on this end and two D-rings on the opposite side, so it works both ways. Now it's open, but if I were to put this on somebody's leg, and we'll do that in a minute, I now have all the Velcro straps inaccessible to me because I didn't open them up. So you take the two cravats off and you take the Velcro straps and peel them back, so now they're not concealed and they're out in the open and available to be used. And when this is applied to the skier, the straps are already available to use. So now you don't have to apply it and take it off the skier and then open it up again. So the cravats are a little bit of a reminder for that. The splint is ready to be used, and we'll do that next. So again, make sure your straps are out and already prepared to be used when the splint is applied. You apply the splint and you pull the straps over and put them through the D-ring. Secure that. Bring the other one over. The D-ring on the opposite side. Again, there is no top or bottom to this splint. It works both ways. And one of the techniques we found was there's a fourth strap here, and sometimes it's not, it's a good advantage to use it and secure the foot on the bottom side so it acts as a bit of a stirrup. There you go. Now your splint is applied in one of the more simpler applications. If the skier has a bent leg or bent knee and does not want to straighten it, we can accommodate that, such as we did in a number of ways in the old days. We would still use the straps across the lower portion of the leg, lower limb, and secure that. But nowadays, to accommodate the bent knee, we would typically make a cradle underneath the leg. This technique may or may not work if the strap can't get all the way across, and we wouldn't have dressed this in advance. But in this case, we have really not a lot of purchase and cannot get the Velcro across. So what we'll do is we came up with a workaround, whereas we can double back the Velcro on itself, take the cravats which were provided with the splint when it was all closed up in the sled bag, and take a double back loop on the Velcro, put a clove hitch there, and we would have dressed this in advance knowing we had a bent knee condition, and we would bring this down underneath, and now I have a product where I can come through the D-ring on the opposite side and build a nice hammock or cradle to hold the knee up. Now, one of the techniques we found was to bring that cravat over to the D-ring over on this side and get an extra bit of lifting torque and pull by using the two D-rings together and tying this off. And we can come through here. Reattach the Velcro loop. And once again, we could use the fourth strap on the last D-ring below the boot, almost as a stirrup. This also helps prevent the foot from sliding out and the knee folding down. So we have the hammock in the cradle, and we have this stirrup here. We still have the bent knee condition, and we used one of the two cravats that was used to store it when it was in the sled bag. And it was all by making a double back loop with the Velcro strap and going through there and using the D-ring to pull versus trying to tie to the D-ring and go the opposite direction. The only other time you would probably want to use this double back loop condition or situation would be if you had an individual who had very, very large thighs and the strap would not be able to get all the way across and get back to the hook on the pile. So we can do the exact same situation or technique by building a double back loop, taking the other cravat or one of the cravats, again provided with the splint when it's loaded in this toboggan bag, and do that clove hitch pull. And now you have an extended Velcro strap that you can use from somebody who has a larger thigh and the strap won't cross all the way over. This technique is preferred in my mind, and I'll tell you why in a second. I'll take it apart. Well, I don't have to take it apart. First thought is you would just take a cravat and tie it around the splint and not use the Velcro strap at all. However, that can slide. It's not part of the splint. This technique makes the cravat part of the splint, therefore it will not slide ever. And all you have to do is tie it off, whether you tie it off to the Velcro or off to another D-ring. It makes it part of the splint. Even if you wanted to go around and come across the other side and tie it off, it makes the cravat part of the splint, therefore it's securely a part of the splint and will not slip and lose your purchase on the upper part of the thigh. If you needed to use this like we would with the old quick splint or with a rolled blanket and wanted to put it between the patient's legs, it's already ready to use. You don't have to tie it up, you don't have to prep it, you don't have to close anything, and there it goes. With the two legs can be then cravated or tied together, and the splint is already in place and ready to go. So this works for a femur or a hip condition where you had to or need to tie the legs together. And this is one of those elements we can use, and it comes out of the bag already prepped and ready to go.